All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. The Lord said, confession good for the soul. So right now,
all I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. And shot call to be known with them niggas letting shots off. Either that or the right hand to the top dog. Funny how we see vanity, not the lives lost. Can't be focused on a life that's hopeless. Out there pumping, not knowing the Lord will kill you for that hocus pocus. Used to roll with niggas that cook dope with weaponry. Same ones claim they love you. I had no life in jeopardy. And I know my mother wants success for me. But that G should take a girl straight to ecstasy. Remember running with bruh, even though we did the wrong thing. My life would've been a lot different if I fell up under Rob's wing. Was too sincere for a wicked game. Shame the Lord's name. Now we afflicted with pain. All I ever wanted was to be respected by stand-up niggas, not knowing that them handcuffs custom made the face. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. I ain't lying, I was close to dying. Knew I wanted to live, but I wasn't trying. I was defiant, not knowing that this ain't how we live. This just how they design it. Cause when you in them streets, you get more endemic. They don't tell you gonna be on papers and on restrictions. My father said a hard head to make a soft ass. I didn't care, I wanted fear when I walked past. In a place where a black man's blood is cheap. I thank the Lord for the day I was on Lake Street. Pissing in the cup, back and forth to court. Found the DC school, I swear it felt like I cried on that fucking porch. The Lord said, my sheep, they ain't hear my voice. Asked me why I'm UPK, I told them I ain't have a choice. They said God ain't 50-50 and what's gonna come to pass. The Lord called me out the world and I started running fast. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. Go ahead. All I wanted was to be a gangster. It's UPK until it hit the fan. I want power and a throne, nigga, fuck them grams. All I wanted was to be a gangster, but I was real as a righteous man. And now got the upper hand, gotta promote this brand. Correct whole multitudes until they all understand. If I can't get that crown, Lord, then put me in the hands of someone more mighty, make me this hit man. Reminiscing on the pain that was felt. Shit, I was in the jail. Shit, I needed help. But Swan was locked up and the judge put man on the shelf. Had me crying cause it felt like I was left by myself. All I wanted was to impress niggas with my grinding. Now I ain't trying to prove shit to nobody but Muhammad. Cause most these niggas lie and pop smoke. One time for the most high.
Shalom, Israel. With Isupk, start off 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana, 1969, where we teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians make up the 12 tribes of Israel. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group. I'm Officer Kazak Shapar. This is an Isupk law class, South Carolina. We're teaching tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about marriage. We're going to talk about building our nation. And we're going to talk about all the things that's related as much as we can, time permitted, with marriage. You know, a lot of our people, we marry people, and our people don't even know. Most of us don't even know what marriage is. But of course, here in Isupk, our people know. But our people out here in the world are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians of the 12 tribes. They have a problem with understanding that sex is marriage. You don't just go and just see. We have Officer Shaw in class, have other people checking in, a few other people checking in. I mean, you just don't go in and just go into a woman, or a woman go and sex up a man and think that you need to go get a marriage license. No, you are married once you have sex with that man or woman, and woman once you have sex with that man, and man once you have sex with that woman, you are married. We don't even count man and man. That's an abomination. That's pitiful. That's total. We don't count woman to woman. The Bible never said anything about be fruitful and multiply with 2 men, size 12 feet in the same damn bed. That's an abomination. That's sickness. They need to go get some understanding from the Isupk. Let them tell our nations, because we get this stuff from the other nations. All of that. But we want to let you know that sex is marriage. You lay down with that person. That's your spouse. You lay down with that woman. That is yours to have. That's your wife. And of course, we're going to show you that you can have more than one wife. In Israel, our priests and prophets had more than one wife. More than one wife. Of course, you need to do it right. You don't just need to just go in and just make whores out of these women. The Bible says there'll be no whores in this kingdom, or sodomites for that matter. So that tells you right away. I know we had a question last week. A woman was asking, can you have more than, I can't remember who the woman was, can you have more than, where in the Bible does it say? We're going to get into it. We're going to show you how the Most High allows our priests and prophets to have more than one wife. And on the other hand, a wife could only have one husband. Just one. I mean, what does it look like? How you feel you going to build a nation walking around and don't know whose baby's in your belly by having more than one husband? That's wicked. That's a whore. You won't inherit the kingdom like that. That's just kind of like common sense, but sometimes sense ain't common. I see we got Mikey Patterson in class, upcoming young student, and having multiple wives is accepted in the Bible. A lot of people say, oh, now they look at us on the road, they can't all that Isupk, man, they can have more than one wife. Well, what does the Bible say? We're going to get into that. The Bible says you can have more than one. So women, you need to understand that that men, you should do all you can for your man so he can help make the right decision on how many wives and how, and you know what I'm saying? Help out by doing your part is what I'm getting at. Do your part, and then that man can see better straight. You know, you're not giving him a whole lot of hassle going back and forth. You know, you have to share that man, because there are a lot of strong men in the ISUPK, you know, where we teach blacks, Hispanic, and Native Indians can have more than one wife, you know. And we'll show you in the Bible, you know, the prescription for getting a marriage. You know, how do you do that right? You know, not, of course, you know, you have sex with the woman that is your wife. You know, whether you liked it or not, you know, whether you understood it or not, that is your wife. And of course, woman, when you have sex with that man, that is your husband. You don't have one of them, so choose carefully. So, but you know, there's a way to do these things right. You know, this is what we want to teach in the law class here, because marriage is very much a law. You know, how to do it right. You know, the Bible says of how to do it, how to come about and marry, and do things exactly right in the Bible as far as marriage. You know. Okay. We still have people checking in the class. You go to the book of you know, we can show you in the book of Deuteronomy 28, 22, and 28. Let's go there. And it talks about how the Most High, you know, wants a woman to be betrothed, and her daddy, you know, betroth her, you know. And then there's some other instances. We definitely don't want you to go out and rape no women. That's in the Bible too. That tells you that you should not do that. You can't do that. You know. You're supposed to do it right. We don't just take a woman and then throw her in a corner and rape her. That's not Bible, you know. And you know, you don't you can spit that game, yeah, of course. You know, you talk to her, you know, and we give you 6 months in here as a good timing, or to a year for you guys to talk about it and let this mind kick in, you know. So instead of you just reacting on ravishing somebody, that's like you know, that's where your bad happenings happening. When you ravish somebody, you use your emotions, and we don't do that here in ISUBK. That's why we give 6 months, and we'll get into that also. But we'll get in here and show you how the Most High gives prescriptions on how we get married. You know. Here's a good way. We'll show you. We have young man D'Angelo checking in class. Glad to see you here, young man D'Angelo. And Mikey, haven't seen you two up-and-coming troopers to be in class, okay? What did I say, Deuteronomy 22? So let's turn to that. Let's turn to Deuteronomy 22 and 28 here, okay? Deuteronomy 22 and 28, all right? All right. Let's see. If a man, read along with me. You guys like and share the class, you know, we're talking about marriage here because a lot of people need to understand, our nation need to understand how we build a nation, how that sex is marriage, and how Israel ought to keep with themselves, because you'll find a real understanding by listening to the priests and prophets of the ISUBK. So like and share your class, okay? Deuteronomy 22 and verse 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, you know, a young woman of marriageable age is a virtuous woman. She's of marriageable age. It says, which is not betrothed. Type it in the chat. Y'all type it in the chat for what does betrothed mean before we go on any further. When it says what it says in verse 28, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, or, you know, a marriage, good-looking woman here, or for that matter, she's nice-looking to you, and you find her, and which is not betrothed, you know, type in the chat. What is it? Give me, you know, a few words. I don't need a whole lot. Just give me 1 word, 2 words, anything. Let me know what betrothed means. Let me Turn it in. Let me know that you know what betrothed means, or I'll just give you the answer. Well, we want you to participate, okay? What does betrothed mean? You know, when it says betrothed, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, he lay on her, man. Which is not betrothed, and he lay hold on her. What does that mean, to not be betrothed? Y'all in class, you know, anybody can answer this. That is not betrothed. You know, because Israel, this is a prescription of how we did things in our days and how we're really supposed to do them nowadays. Here in Isupk, we're the head, man, not the tail. We understand we're still in slavery, but we don't have to act with the slave mind. Well, you know, we don't have to act like we don't know anything. We have the Most High, we have the Apocrypha, and we have the Bible right here, which is the Apocrypha is the Bible, and the Bible is the Bible, and they're both are part of the Bible. It was inset in the 1611 version of the Bible, King James version, King James commission, or he translated. I'm sorry. So what does betrothed mean? Y'all talk to me about it, okay? Tell me about it. What does that mean when it says betrothed? All right. What does it mean to be betrothed? It says, verse 28, if a man find a damsel, you know, young girl, man, you know, and which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, you know, he's talking, he talking his nice game, his nice line, you know, and he you know, get with the woman, you know, and say she's not, and lay on her and lie with her, you know. So what does betrothed mean? What does betrothed got to do with it? Because he lying with the woman, you know, he's going to have sex with us. What it says, he lied with her. Okay. So what does that mean? Anybody in the chat? Give you time to write it down. Yeah, okay. Give you a few more seconds there. What does betrothed mean in the Bible when it talks about if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed? Because this is a prescription for getting, this is a beautiful prescription for getting married, you know, for a woman and for a young man in their age, a young age. Okay, we have young man D'Angelo says engaging. Okay, all right, and I can clap it up for her. Yeah. I can clap it up. I can agree with that. It's engaging, yeah. Because what it is, you know, let me elaborate on that word engaging. Because what it is that word, she is betrothed or she's put aside. And I can understand that, like she's being courted or she's set aside. The daddy said, look, I want you to put her aside, and I'm gonna make a diary. Let's see. Have Dina McCall checking in. Yeah, glad to have you, Dina. The wife of Property Officer Sean. Glad to have you, sis. But D'Angelo said to be engaging or an engagement, you know, and I can understand that. That's sometimes we put, you know, give them a ring, you know, got a ring, you know, or whatever. Some cultures they put different things, but whatever. Betrothed means to set aside this woman, this you know, if I court a woman for 6 months, she's off limits to anybody else. And of course we read that in class. You know, it may take a year. But that's what D'Angelo's right. So we clap it up for him again. It's engagement. You know, that's a set aside. You know, this woman set aside. She's off limit because she can only have one man. And the daddy knows that. So let's finish reading this. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, that means she's not set aside for nobody else. And he lay all on her, man. He said, look, you know, he said, at least, we're talking about the nation of Israel. You got 2 people in the nation of Israel, you know, because that's we practice these customs. The heathens, you know, they don't know anything about this. We practice these customs, okay? And lie with her. That means he had sex with her, okay? And they be found. Now it's consensual sex, you know, consensual. all right, and she be found, okay, and they be found, I'm sorry, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and shall be his wife. Yeah, of course you his wife. Of course she is your wife. Of course, that's the case, because he have humbled her. That's how you humble a woman, by taking her down in your bedroom and humbling her and having sex with her. That's just a common sense to be as accurate and as nice about it. He humbled her. He may not put her away all his days, because that's how we see the prescription of marriage. And that is one of the best precepts that you can get. You know, the daddy say, look here, I'm setting aside for the young man over here. Nobody else touch you. But this man say, this woman right here, if you go back and read this text, the man that lay with her, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed. In other words, she didn't have a diary on her head at first. She wasn't betrothed. She wasn't set aside. But this man discovered that. He said, look, and the woman, she was agreeable. You know, my daddy didn't set some shekels over. But if it be found, you go to that daddy and you give him a diary of his choosing. This right here, it says 50 shekels. But of course, you know, you have different weights of understanding of how much money to give to the daddy, because it's a diary for this nice, virtuous woman that you're getting ready to get married to. And of course, there are other complications that come out of all of this, and we can get into this a little later. He humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. Verse 30. A man shall not take his father. I'm sorry. We don't need to get into that one. Verse 29. Let's read this again. Let's read it again. Verse 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, she ain't in no engagement, just like who we have, Lamore David. Lamore David, listening from Savannah. I think you may have asked the question last week. I'm not sure. Lamore David. Okay. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay with her, this woman is not doesn't have any daddy, or she has a daddy, but she may have an uncle. Whatever the case is, she's not betrothed. She's not ready. She doesn't have a diary put on her just yet. But the woman say, I want to get married. So getting married back then wasn't, I ain't going down no wedding aisle and, and getting up a piece of paper. You know, he lied with her. That means, right, the Bible, the Lord recognized the fact that they had sex. They lied together. Then that's a virgin. And they were both consented, okay? If a man find a damsel, he lay hold on her, man. He spit his game. He talks to, look here. We can get married. Now, the best thing for him to have done really is coming out of UPK is get 6 months to even think about it. Leave her, let this beautiful woman alone, man. So that, and of course, woman, leave the handsome man alone so that they can get chance to get their mind together. They're coming from a situation out there in the world where there's a lot of stress, a lot of problems, a lot of ravishing going on, all kinds of things going on out there. So it says, and they lay, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her. In other words, he lay hold on, and lie with her. That's fine. And they be found, okay? In other words, these two people had sex. That's his wife. From here or after, that is his wife, okay? All right? Then we give you the prescription for a marriage. We give a prescription for, this is just one marriage, and a man can have many wives, but we give a prescription of typically how Israel did it, okay? Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver. It says it's only right to say, hey, look, I humble your daughter, and I love her. You better, because you didn't humble her. That's that man, he needs to get compensation for his lovely daughter that you humble, because back then that was the case. That's his wife. You don't need she was put aside for one man. Okay, all right, and that's the prescription of how that is. of how a man, you know, loved this woman, and the woman consensual and loved the man and got married. And we're gonna let you know that, you know, you don't want to go out, and we're gonna get into all this. You don't want to go out and find somebody off the street here that you don't even know about, man. Come in Isupk and find a lovely wife of your choosing. And of course, a woman, find a man of your choosing here in Isupk. Men, you know, they come in here, you get used to this one wife before you try to move on to different wives. You know, get an understanding. You know, okay, let's find out. Let's find out what the Bible says about, let's read a little bit more. Let's turn to Tobit, verse, the 4 and 12. Tobit 4 and 12, okay? All right, glad to have people in the chat here. Let's read the book of Tobit. It's in the Apocrypha, 4 and 12. And the Bible says this, just like I was saying, you know, you want to find a woman, you know, you don't want to go out there and find some other heathen, some other nation, some other scab or scalawag or somebody. You can't build our nation, especially the women. You know, men, of course. You know, but you ain't really building your nation by going out with other, because if it comes from the seed of any of our men, it is Israel. But you don't want to go and marry all these white women, all these East Indians, all these Chinese women, and got the whole situation confused. That ain't what the Most High wanted to happen. All these Japanese women that you sleeping with, and that's your wife. The Bible, that's not a prescription right there. You ain't nobody, ain't no. Take a wife from your youth, and we're going to get into that in a second here. Well, let's find out here. Let's go to Tobit 4 and 12. The Bible says, because a lot of these women out here are whores, and the Bible says, beware of all whoredom. They're whores, man, and they just as quick as to get you ravished and messed up in the mind. You don't believe me? Ask Tiger Woods, ask Eddie Murphy, ask Dr. Dre and all. We're going to get into their lives, and then we're going to show you how they messed up things for their own. And then they ain't building a nation of Israel. They're not even interested. They're interested in although, well, we'll get into that here in a second. The Bible says, verse 12, 4 and 12, Tobit, beware of all whoredom, my son. Now he's talking to the son right here, but he's letting you know about the heathen women's of this world and all the whoredom. And chiefly, it says, beware of all whoredom. There can be whores in Israel. There can be whores, but he's mainly talking about these heathens out here, okay? But there can be whores anywhere. The Bible says, beware of all whoredom, not just one group. It says, beware of all whoredom. My son, this is almost like talking like Proverbs talk, like real stern talk here. Say, beware of all whoredom, my son. Chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy father, man, of thy fathers. Chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife. Y'all type in the chat and tell me what a strange woman is. Take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. Well, I pretty much give the answer away, so but you can elaborate if you want to. For we are the children of prophets, man. That's who we are. We're the children of prophets. Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred. And were blessed in their children, not some Asian over here. Look at Serena Williams, how she runs out, and the first thing she does is marry a white man. A disgusting, how in the hell could she even lay down with something like that? But here, this is what she did. And blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. You know, that's how you build a nation. That's how we're strong. That's how we build our nation, man, by giving them an inheritance. Why you want to give anything other than Israel, that's a seed of Israel, an inheritance? You know, we have Sister Yana in class. Glad you have in Officer Shar's wife. God, we're gonna have a pretty decent class today. We have a big class going on here. You know, let's look at it again. Beware of all whoredom, you know, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed, Zerai, of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman. So to wife. Now, y'all type in the chat. What is a strange woman? Y'all type it up in the chat. Tell me. Share with Kazak Shapar up in here in this law class up here. Give me your version of a strange woman. What is a strange woman? Take not a strange woman to wife. You know, don't take them strange woman to wife, man. Type it up in the chat. Tell me what a strange wife is. Strange woman. Because once you lie with her, because sex is marriage, you know, that's your wife. The Bible says, lay not with. Of course, there's prescriptions for when you don't know and when you didn't know and you come to the truth. I understand that. The Most High understands that. And we're going to get into that also. Okay? But this right here says, beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife. You know, don't go out there like a lot of our celebrities, a lot of our stars, a lot of our people that celebrated in Israel here. Our people, the blacks, Hispanic, and Native Indians, going around wanting to take all of the white women they can find, man. And I noticed that, you know, some of them kind of gravitates to Chinese, you know, and different ones. But boy, they love them some white women, long stringy hair, you know, yellowish white hair, you know. For what? You know, that's their trophy. Please, you know, ain't never been my trophy at all. But this is how our people, for some reason, they feel that they just gotta have it. They just got, and it's not so much about skin color, because we have colors. Because Ephraim, you know, he's got colors, cake unturned. You know, he's got people light. But we're talking about from the seed of your fathers. If you're from the tribe of Ephraim, you can have light, black, dark, medium skin, brown. But we're talking about Caucasians. We're talking about East Indians. Don't take these. Chinese, Japanese, Hawaiians, Eskimos. Don't mess with these people. You know what? So what does it mean? Ayana, a strange woman, meaning like a harlot. Okay, yeah, we can do that. We can clap that up. Exactly right. We can clap that up. Like, what's another meaning that can be for strange woman? Also, she's exactly right. So, like I said, let's clap it up for a harlot. You know, that's right. Another way you can say a strange woman. These are women that are not Israel. That's what makes them strange. They're harlots, yeah. You can have harlots within Israel. You know, but what really makes them strange, they're not of Israel. You know, that's one really thing that you have to watch out for. They are not Israel, man. That's what really makes, isn't it strange that I gotta go and find a woman? So sis, you're right. It's like a harlot. Yeah, exactly right, because that's what a lot of these other nations are. They're harlots, man. You know, a lot of these heathen, a lot of these strange women out here, because a lot of our people in Israel, you know, the Most High didn't want us to do that. Didn't want us to look over the fence and see, oh, look at this strange woman. Okay, we're going to get into that here. We're going to show you. The Bible says, let's go into Proverbs 5 and 18 here, real quick here. Let's go to Proverbs 5 and 18. All right, let's dwell a little bit more on this right here. 5 and 18. Okay, let's talk about it here for a second here. Okay, all right. Proverbs 5:18. The Bible says this. Yeah. Let them be on strangers with thee. Okay. Let's go to 16. Let thy fountains be dispersed abroad, and the rivers of waters in the streets. And then it says, let them be only, Salakia, with verse 5 and 17 now of Proverbs. Let them be only thine own, and not strangers with thee. Okay? Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Okay? And let her be as a loving hind. Okay? In other words, Israel, we walking around, man, and your dad, and as a woman, as a young virtuous woman, your dad has betrothed you. That's who the men of Israel want. They want those betrothed women that the daddy said, when you get of marriageable age, whatever that age is out there, you have Sharon class, Officer Natazah's Rib, our camp leader, says, and let's finish reading again. Let thy fountain, glad to have you in class, sis. Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Okay? In other words, Israel, our young men, to make them strong. This is how we build nations, man, by understanding the right prescription for marriage, okay? Let her be as a loving hind and a pleasant roe, and let her breast, in other words, a woman's breast. Let her, in other words, it's describing, man, this is the woman that you've been looking for. You've been walking around. You've been seeing her going to the market. She's been baking bread. She's been picking rows beside you, of fruit and vegetables for you, for her dad. And you've been looking over there, man, and said, wow, this is a beautiful woman, man. I want that. Because this, in other words, it says the wife of your youth. In other words, this is healthy. It's healthy for a young man to look at his future wife. She's betrothed. In other words, she could be betrothed to you. Okay? Let her breast satisfy thee at all times. And then it says, and be thou ravished always with her love. Okay? Be satisfied with thee at all times, and be ravished always with her love. Be always with her. Okay, that's what this is saying. And why would thy son be ravished with a strange woman? Why would you be ravished with a strange? Well, look up that word. Y'all look that up, and I'll let you know. To be ravished with let's see. The wife of youth not ravished. It's just storing herself. In other words, in a good sense, ravish could mean, you give yourself to that man when the time comes. Okay, but in a bad sense, it says, why would my son you be ravished with a strange woman? Okay, and embrace the bosom of a stranger. This is not somebody like, from cross town saying, hey, I don't know who this is, but Israel had their own, we had our own world, our own culture, our own people. This Bible says, be satisfied with it at all times. Let her loving hind and pleasant roe, let her breast satisfy thee. In other words, this is the woman you marry of your youth, the one set aside for you. And woman, this man set aside for you. And then, that's how we did it back then, okay? But why would you be ravished with a strange woman? In other words, why would you throw yourself, that's what your emotional self, throw your emotions and your understanding instead of spending 6 months or a year. In some cases, Laban, Jacob, he spent 7 years courting Rachel and Leah. That's a long time, audience chat. That's a long time, 7 years. We say 6 months. The daddy said, you work for me 7 years. And he was working for Rachel. Beautiful, bad sisters out there, man. I'm talking about bad mama jammas. the wife of his youth. Say this, I want this, because our nation was built like that, and we're going to show you how further that's what we should. We should marry people of our own race, our own people. Okay, our wives from our youth, and then when you come into the ISUPK, your youth, your young manship, your young womanship starts right here in the ISUPK. Let's clap it up for Commander General Hunter for giving us an understanding of that. Your understanding of being young and youthful starts here, because you don't know anything. You're learning from the Bible. So this is the time to wait 6 months for that woman, unless of course you come here already with a wife. It says, young man, D'Angelo, seize and to carry off by force. That's right. They say, fill somewhere with intense delight. Exactly. You seize and carry off by force. In other words, why would you have a strange woman? Why would you be ravished with that kind of love? Okay, and embrace the bosom of a stranger. Okay, and to fill someone with intense delight. In other words, the other statement is intense delight. I buy that when I read that definition of ravish, so I can clap it up for him. We can definitely use that. That's exactly right. That's what the Bible says. In other words, we want to use 6 months to a year to have an understanding of who in the world am I marrying over here. The Bible says, find somebody, my son, from your youth, man. In other words, you coming in here, and ISUPK, you can't be no more starting from your youth to here, because you definitely didn't know a damn thing coming into here. And that's what, and that's what Israel did back then. They made sure they betrothed women. They had it because they wanted to protect this little virtuous young woman, and to protect this innocent man and this innocent woman. Put them together and have a good marriage. Why? To build our nation. Okay? It says, and it says, let's read it again. Let her be as the loving hind and pleasant roe, and let her breast satisfy thee at all times, and be, it said, all times, and be thou ravished always with her love. In other words, let you be satisfied with her. Okay? And then it says, on the other hand, another definition, the way of look at it, why would you take that same ravishing and turn it inside out and say, I want to be with this other woman, this Chinese woman over here, this white woman over here. Why would you do that? Because all that's going to lead to is really bad. So that's what this is saying here. So let's find out. We talk about, before we get into some other things in here, we'll talk about, we talked about take a wife from thy seed, in the land. Okay, good. All right. Now, and then let's turn to the fact that a man, can have more than one wife. And then many wives are suggested understanding that because we're men of war, man, when we go out and get killed, we're gonna need to have sons built. Okay, that's why the Most High. That's a good understanding to understand that. To understand, let's go to 1 Chronicles 5:18. Let's go to 1 Chronicles 5:18, and let's look up one of the reasons why the Most High wanted Israel. A lot of people, a lot of women out there was wondering, but you got to realize this. I know our women, and they've made mistakes here and there, and they understand. But once you come to ISUPK, now you're joined up unto the Bible. You understand now that under Commander General Yohana that these women, I can only have one man. That's it. That's your husband. But understand that a man, to build our nation, okay, we go out there on the street corner. We're getting rocks thrown at us, spit at, shot at. Some of us, God forbid, killed. Shot at, all kinds of things, okay? So let's read here, 1 Chronicles 5:18. let's read some suggestions here. Let's read some understanding of the Bible. I'm sorry. Understanding's not suggestion necessarily. Let's read this. 5 and 18, all right? Let's read this, okay? Yeah. The son, because it talks about the different sons, okay, of Israel, okay? And it says right here, the sons of Reuben, the Gadites. Reuben was the firstborn amongst Israel, from Rachel and Leah, of course, that built our nation through two women right there. so that's one thing. We're built by two women through Jacob having all these children through two women. I'm sorry. Okay? The son of Reuben and the Gadites, which is the North American Indian, okay? And half the tribe of Manasseh, which is Cuban. It says of valiant men. That means strong, valor, out there in the battlefield. Men able to bear a buckler and a sword, man. In other words, for war. And to shoot the bow, that's what we did back then. Listen, we're men of war. Okay? All right? And skillful in war were 40,703 score, and they went out to war. Okay? And that's what we did. All right? We went out to war. That's one reason why we need to understand that Israel, to fight battles out here, we need men of war. So when a man has 2 or 3 wives, it's nothing for them to have 10 children. What's wrong with that? That woman, she's pregnant over here, she's got a wife. This man got a wife here. He's got a wife here. He's got a wife here. Our brother got a wife over here, wife there, and they're pregnant. But they all Israel because they all his. Well, can you imagine a woman going out there? I can do the same thing. What the hell? This woman out here, matter of fact, she may be pregnant with the heathen. For that matter, look at Serena Williams. How's she building our war? How's she bringing up a soldier? First of all, not to say that she had a girl, but if she had a boy, what would that boy be? The boy would be an Edomite. He can't build our nation. He can't stand out on the corners and build or carry a buckler or sword or shield. That's the woman. When you have a man in your life, that is your man. Share him with the other women that this man can have, so we can build our nation. Have many children. Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's do this. The Bible talks about this in Psalms 127, 3 and 5. Let's go to here. Let's finish reading here. We're talking about building our nation because we need these children in war, man. This is what the Most High wants us to do. Okay, to have children with our own people, our own nation, to build our nation, to build our heritage. Okay, 127, 3 and 5. It says, Lo, children. Man, children are an heritage. That means that they're so precious, man. Once you have a child by Israel, our nation, you'll understand. You understand that children are an heritage of the Most High, or of the Lord, okay? And the fruit of the womb is his reward. In other words, what comes out of that womb, you don't know how important you are, woman, when you bear a nation of Israel. Okay? So I'm letting you know now, that's how important you are. Let's finish reading. Okay. Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, of the Most High, and the fruit of thy womb is his reward. As arrows are in his hand of a mighty man. A mighty man, he needs many arrows. He can miss, he can aim, he can hit. He needs many of them. Verse 4, okay, we're in Psalms 127, all right? Verse 4. As arrows are in the hands of a mighty man, and that's what we are. We're mighty men of valor, okay? All right? So are the children of the youth. So are children of the youth. In other words, when they're young, because we're growing up our men. Of course, we're growing up our women, our little girls to be women, to help to cook these meals, to have more children, okay? To run these households under the auspices and guidance of the men, okay? Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them, okay? You know, they shall not be ashamed. See, a quiver is the little compartment where they put the arrows in. He had full of arrows, okay? And he's also saying full of children. You know, she's making an analogy to the babies being born versus the arrows that's in a quiver. Many, all right? Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed. No, of course not. You ain't going to be ashamed when you go walk up and say, man, I got 10 children. Okay, clap it up for them. Exactly right. Because that's another nation, another part of our nation that is being built through Israel, okay? But they shall speak with the enemies in the gate. And you analyze this right here. But they shall speak with the enemy. In other words, the way you speak with an enemy is with many arrows and many men of war. I pray y'all understand that. Type it in the chat if you understand that. Type con, you know. Many. That's what this says right here. It says, happy is the man that hath his quiver full of children, full of arrows. You know, full, ready to fight. That's what this says. But they speak with the enemies in the gate. You know, our gates is our protection, man. And we don't have, when you go to war, you don't come out there with 1, 2, or 3 men. You better have 4, 5,000. And the way to have it is these women. You don't just get pregnant. It takes 9 months for a woman to get pregnant, man. I mean, I'm saying 9 months, Jesus. Lock it. It takes 9 months for a woman to have a child. Okay, yay, 10 months. Okay, count it all, add it all up. Young man D'Angelo said, "Con, yeah, right." And I'm pretty sure everybody else understands that. It says this. Let's read this again. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. That quiver, you know, he wore that quiver on his back, man, and he's taking out there an arrow and he's shooting it. You know, the Bible says, "Happy is the man full of them." You know, full of children, because we gonna need them. You build your nation by having children through Israel, not other nations. You know, I'm expecting to hear more cons out of there, or yeses, that people understand this. This is this right here is one of the full foundations of understanding how Israel is built right here. Of course, you know, you got to have the child first before you can groom him to be a soldier, groom her to be a helpmate. You know, Israel got to have the children. Let's see, Sharabana, glad, good, Khan, yeah, Salakia, sir, Khan, Sharabana, she says, Khan, exactly, and that's what I'm saying. When you understand, I appreciate that, guys, I appreciate it. Well, let me know you understand. So when you have a quiver, you walk out there, because, you know, our American Indians, you know, we used it also in Gad. But this back then we used arrows. But this is a relationship that when you go before the enemy, it says, let's read this again. Go back to 4. As arrows are in the hands of a mighty man. When I go to war, I want to have many arrows, okay? And this is why this is an analogy, as arrows, or as children, okay? So, and then it says, as arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of youth. It's good to have those young children out there so you can groom them up. Say, man, you're going to be a soldier. And that's what we do here in the Isupk, okay? And then you tell a little girl, you're going to be a sister. You know, and we display that sisterhood, that brotherhood. That's a weapon, of course. But we're letting you know that it starts, you got to have these children first. So that woman, you know, when you have these babies for that man and you allow him to have, I'm trying to make sense out of here. When you allow him to have more children, we have more to build our nation because he can have more than one wife. And we're going to get into that. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. This is the foundation of it right here. How he going? If you only had one, let's just do some common sense. If you only had, not that I said it, but if you only had one wife, you can only have one wife. First of all, you know, how are we going to build up our kingdom? You know, children live, they die, women gestation period is only so long. That's why the Most High knows what He's doing. This is not me, you know. So but they shall speak with the enemies and the gate. In other words, we won't speak with you. We're gonna have a word with you, enemy. Now, how you gonna come to here? This enemy got 10,000 people. You better be somewhere with 10,500 or 15,000, or you better have some strong men of valor. That's how we did it back then. Those women stayed pregnant. That man just didn't have one wife. Let's go back here. Let's go and they were all guaranteed to be Israel because the man was Israel. You know, but that's why look. I go back again and use Serena Williams as an example. How in the world is she having anything of Israel? Anything come out of her womb, and she is one of us. She is a Judite, but she's married to a man that is a heathen of his own self. He's a heathen. He's a white man. He's Esau, Idumea, okay? He can't. She's through having. I don't even want to hear about her having children, because it don't mean nothing. You know, she don't mean nothing. She don't mean nothing to this. And let's go. Let's go. Let's go to Gideon. Let's see, because Gideon was definitely a fighter. Let's go to Judges 8:30. Judges 8:30, okay? Joshua judges Ruth, okay? Judges 8:30. Slakia. Oh. What did I say? Judges 8:30. Okay. And let's go and talk about Gideon right here. Okay. Judges 8:30. All right. Judges 8:30 talks about Gideon, man. And let's talk about what his contributions here. And it says right here. Okay. Verse 22. We'll go all the way back to 22. And the men of Israel said unto Gideon, rule thou over us, both thou and thy son and thy son's son also, for thou hast delivered us from the hand of the Midian. No, because he got children, okay? Able to deliver, okay? And Gideon said unto them, I will not rule over you, neither shall my son rule over you. Let's go down a little bit. That's too far back. Let's go back to 25. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Lock it. Let's go to verse 28. Judges 8:30. All right. Gideon 8:28. Salakia. Thus was Midian subdued before the children of Israel, so that they lifted up their heads no more. And the country was in quietness 40 years in the days of Gideon. Okay. The Jerubbaal, the son of Joash, went and dwelt in his own house. Now let's check this out. Pay attention to this. This is the book of Judges 8:30. This is the book when Gideon was a judge too, you know, if I'm not mistaken. It says, and Gideon had 60. Oh my goodness. 60 sons. Somebody type it up in the chat. How many sons? Oh Lord. How many is 60? I mean, I know what it is. I just want to see if you guys are alert enough. Gideon had threescore and 10 sons of his body begotten. That means this rascal was doing it. He was doing it right. Look at here. He had threescore and 10 sons of his body begotten, for he had many wives. Okay. Sharabana, she said, good. She said it was 70, and what did I say? 3score and 10? I believe she's right. Yeah, clap it up for her. Clap it up for Sharab. She's exactly right. Sharabana, 3score and 10. She's exactly right. That's 70, man. And Gideon had 3score and 10 sons. This man had 70 sons. 70 to build and give to the nation of Israel. Okay? And of his body, that means from him. Okay? And you know ain't no one woman had 70. Ain't no one woman had no 70 sons. So, because it says after this, and he had many wives. Many. I appreciate that, Sister Shara. Okay. And his concubine that was in Shechem, she also bare him a son, whose name was called Abimelech. Okay. So you got to understand something. Yeah, that's a concubine. But Gideon had 70 sons. Okay. All right. Let's go to Rehoboam, 2 Chronicles 11 and 21. Lord. Let's go to 2 Chronicles 11 and 21. All right. Second Chronicles. Yeah, that's 70, right, exactly right. 2 Chronicles, where am I at here? Okay, there it is. 2 Chronicles 11 and 21. 2 Chronicles 11 and 21 says this. And Rehoboam loved Maacah, the daughter of Absalom. Okay? You know, Rehoboam was King David's son. You know, you had Rehoboam and Jeroboam. You know, this kingdom split here. Rehoboam, okay? That's King David. That's his son. So let's read about it. And Rehoboam loved Maacah. Okay? Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, above all his wives. How many? Some of his wives. A few of his wives. The Bible says above all his wives and his concubines, okay? You know, his wife's servant, okay? And then because he took them. For he took 18 wives. Did y'all read that up in here? Was a concubine that bore Gideon's son a concubine and tribal warfare among our people? Let me get in there. That may have been one. It'd be almost equivalent to reading about when Abraham had a son. Who did have? Isaac and Ishmael. And Ishmael was of Hagar, Sister Shara. And although he was, if it comes from, although he came from Abraham, you know, his mama was not right. His mama was Egyptian. Okay? All right? So, we'll get into that here. You got to be careful about how we have these concubines on this, all right? That's important. Right. And Rehoboam loved Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, above all the wives and his concubines. For he took 18 wives and 80 concubines, and begat 28 sons and 80 daughters. Okay? And Rehoboam made Abijah, the son of Machah, the chief, to be ruler among his brethren. Okay? And that's Rehoboam. So he had many wives. So 18 wives. So in other words, he had many wives. Okay? And hold a minute here. Many wives. Okay. So Rehoboam had many. King David's son. Slocky for a second here. Wait a minute. Okay, got it. Lock you for a second here. Look at something up here. Okay. Hold a minute. Slack for a second. No, he wasn't. But he still was Gideon's son. Okay? Is king of Gerar in Abraham's time, king of Gath in David's time, maybe title of the Philistines king. And it says son of Gideon by a concubine, priest, the son of Abiathar. All right? Melech. Yeah. We'll get into that in a little while here. Back. Oops. Yeah. All right. And Gideon had 10 sons, but that one he had, that was by a concubine, and he went to do other things there. But he was not part of from me reading. Okay? He didn't, let's go back and read that again here. He wasn't part. Okay, let's see. Yeah. But now, you got to understand that his name is my father. Melech is father, or my father is king. He's king of Gerar in Abraham's time, king of Gath in David's time, maybe title of the Philistines king. Okay? Son of Gideon by a concubine, priest, the son of Abiathar. Okay? That's what the Bible says, all right? From Abimelech, the name of 2 Philistine kings and 2 Israelites, Abimelech. All right? And that's who he was. All right? But, he That's why the Most High is very careful when it comes to when he had Hagar as a concubine, and that's why only Isaac shall thy seed be called. That's why he didn't let Ishmael. Same way here with Abimelech. You know, Isaac and Ishmael were brothers, but look what Isaac turned out to be. I mean, look what Isaac turned out to be, and look what Ishmael turned out to be, an Arab. So that's how you have to look at that and understand it, okay? Sister Shara, understand that. All right? Where are we at? Hope that answered your question there, sis. All right? Okay, where were we at? The man should not take too many wives. Okay, good. All right. Quiver. Okay. Let's go to where I believe it was 1 Kings 11:3. 1 Kings 11:3. Let's go there. We only build up our nation when we marry a woman. That's what this is all about. When we marry a woman or of our own people, when our people marry, unless if the Lord sees fit for that, you know, and it mainly because the man is going to be the head. The man is going to be the determining factor of what he is. He's from the seed of Israel, but the Lord doesn't want him to be. If the Most High doesn't want him to be part of the nation that will help Israel, then he will be just like Ishmael was. You know, the Bible says Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, not Ishmael. You know, because that was of Hagar. And then she was an Egyptian. The Most High said, "Nah, that ain't what I want." But that's the Most High's choosing. Same way with Abimelech. Same thing. Okay? So, 1 Kings 11:3. All right. But Solomon loved many strange women. What does this Bible says? This is when when you have too many wives, you know, and they all this back on that point again, and they're not of the same. And we have too many wives. That's what Solomon did, and he had. Let's read it, verse 11. Chapter 11, verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange wives, and that's what we talked about before. This is what the Most High has to put up with when we love. That's why we want to stick with our people, our nation, okay? King Solomon loved many strange wives. King Solomon that's David's son. But he loved many strange wives. You know, whores, heathens, Africans, East Indians, all these people are strange wives. That's not Israel, man. You know. And together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of Moabites. Now this is Solomon. Confusing the issue, man. This is King Solomon. Yeah, they're going to come out because they come from Solomon. You know, they are from Solomon's seed. But this is what this is. This is what the strange wives turn him to be. Turn out his women. When he married these women, that's what these children have turned out. With the daughter of Pharaoh, women of Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonites, and Hittites. Solomon had children by all of these. All of these women here. He had children by white women. He had children by Zidonites, and Hittites, Africans, Moabites, Chinese. Okay. Women with the daughter of Pharaoh. This is Solomon. All right. And this is something that the Most High didn't want. When you have too many wives, this is how this comes about. of the nations concerning which the Lord saith unto thee, children of Israel, ye shall not go into them. In other words, don't have sex with them. Don't go into them. That's what this is saying. Of the nations, verse 2 here, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto thee, children of Israel, that's what he's saying. Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come into you. In other words, our children should not, our men should not have strange wives. Okay? And our women, you shouldn't have strange husbands. For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. That's the reason why the Most High don't want you there. How you going to build a nation serving their gods? See, the Most High will put a stop to that, or he will tell you about it. That's what he doesn't want. Solomon claved unto these in love, he says. And check this out. Verse 3. Verse 11 and 3. Okay? All right? Just like Gideon having a wife with a concubine. You know? That's what he's doing. Okay? The Most High has to approve all this. And that's what he's saying. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. Now, just because you can have all these wives don't mean you need to be having all these wives, men of Israel. That's what this is saying. All right? And his wives did what? Turned away his heart. His wives turned away his heart. That's why you leave the strange wives alone. You know, Most High gonna get them and clean up behind all our mess. And we're reading about it right now. You know, this is you can't build a nation unless you have Israel. That's what you want. You want Israel involved. And of course, when our men marry, because we are Israel, anything we have a child by is going to be Israel. It's going to be our child. Okay? It's going to be our child. But what would they do? That's what the Most High wants you to marry, a wife of your youth. Somebody somebody from your youth, somebody that the Most High allow your father, your mom, and your dad got together, mainly your daddy, got together and say, look, we want our daughter to marry that man over there from the tribe of Benjamin or tribe of Levi. A wife, have a son. Get a daughter of your youth, man, and be in love with her breast. Okay? That's what this is saying, all right? But Solomon right here, and he said he had 700 wives, princesses, man, and 300 concubines. That's 1,000 women. How in the hell how he gonna even keep up with all that? But he did. But look what happened to him. And his wives turned away his heart. Verse 4. And it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father. That's why you got to be careful and follow the precepts and do it right, okay? And and let's turn to Hebrews 13 and 4. You know, because the Most High says marriage is honorable in all, man. It's honorable. You know, it's an honorable thing to a marriage. It's just not a laying down. You just don't laying down and come into a woman. You know, of course, your marriage, the Bible says, it's an honorable thing. So let's read about that. You know. All right. The bed is undefiled. He's going to judge everything else. So let's find out what this really means here. Hebrews 13 and 4. All right. Okay. Hebrews 13 and 4. The bonds that suffered. Okay. Now let's go back here. It says, verse 13. Let's start at chapter 13, verse 1. Let brotherly love continue. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some entertain angels unawares. Okay, all right. Remember them that are in bonds, and bounds with them and suffer. That ain't what I want to read. Sorry, verse 4. I'm sorry, Slocky. Marriage is honorable in all. That's what the Bible is saying. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed is undefiled. In other words, do it right, man. It says this, but whoremongers, people have made themselves whores, man, and adulterers. How does a man, how a woman is a whore? How does she become a whore? How does a man make her a whore? All right. And adulterers, God will judge. In other words, he'll decide on this earth right now, in this time and space, the Most High will judge you for that, for being a whoremonger and an adulterer, because the Most High don't want that. All right. It says marriage is honorable, man. It's an honorable thing to sex is marriage. That's an honorable thing, all right? Unlike you see Tiger Woods, having I don't know how many whores that he had that he made whores, because he's Israel, and then he went in and tried to get with all these white women, totally wrong. He ain't trying to build. He's trying to cause confusion, because they're going to turn his heart away from the Most High, which has happened. Okay, marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. That means that marriage bed. Okay, but whoremongers, all right, and adulterers. What's an adulterer? I'll type it up in the chat. What is an adulterer? What makes a woman an adulterer? How is she an adulterer? What makes her an adulterer? And then we'll answer the same question for a man. But let's start with a woman first. What makes a woman an adulterer? So we know same thing that made her. Well, anyway, what makes a woman? Let's see. A woman having sex with multiple men. Clap it up for it. Exactly right. A woman having sex with multiple men, right, at any time. It's an adulterer. All right. What about a man, brothers and sisters online? What makes a man an adulterer? You say the woman having sex with multiple men. That's just plain trifling. She got all this beautiful body, man, and can't just be with the one man that she's with. Somebody type it in chat. What makes the man? How is he an adulterer? The answer is right here in front of us. How is he an adulterer? How is a man? We know that this woman, because a man can have sex with multiple women, because that will become his wives. But what makes him an adulterer? Stopping, what is this? Sleeping with another man's wife. Damn right. Clap it up right there for D'Angelo. When you sleep with another man's wife, which is trifling, first of all, as one of the officers said, you wear his drawers. Oh my God. Anyway, I don't want to get at that. Okay, and not only that, you're taking these women. First of all, you're gonna go with another. You're gonna go, and you're gonna take this woman over here, and she's got. Not only that, she could be betrothed to somebody, or she could be married to somebody, and you go sleep with her. Now you just made her a whore, and you made her an adulterer, and you made yourself an adulterer, man. That's what you've done. That's what it is. So clap it up in class so you guys understand that. So this it can be when you first. There's no complication here. The Bible says marriage is honorable in all. That's why in all, man and woman in Israel. Okay, it's honorable, man. You're supposed to do this thing decent and order and honorable. And those are very good answers out there. I appreciate that. And the bed is undefiled, but whoremongers, that means women. If you out there whoring around, man, sleeping with as Sister Ross said, sleeping with multiple men, you're a whore. That's what they're saying. But a man, if you want to go out and you go 6 months, so you got a wife, okay? You want another 6 more months, you got a wife, and she's not betrothed, she don't have a husband, then it's okay for you to do that. If she does, you're an adulterer. And Bible, and you best believe the Most High will judge you because of that. That's what Hebrews 13:4 is saying, okay? And our people, we there's a lot of concubine went on back in the days. You got people over here. You got this. It's no telling. Look at the wickedness. Our people can do wicked too. Okay, that's. Matter of fact, we got stoned for that. You ain't building a nation up of Israel. The best way to build it up is to Israel, to marry Israel. That's the best way. Okay, that's why I read and prefaced the first story. In Deuteronomy, I believe it was 22. I believe it was 18, 22. I can't remember. Deuteronomy 22. Deuteronomy 22. That woman's betrothed, the daddy said, "Look here, bring me some shekels. You done humble my child. She's a grown woman now. Now she's married. Now bring it up. And that's And Tiger Woods. Now he did a whole lot of. If I'm not mistaken, if I remember reading right, Tiger Woods had 120. We call them affairs nowadays. Now, first, what's the first? Let's type it up. Let's type it up in the chat. See if y'all learn. Y'all know who Tiger Woods. What's the first thing Tiger Woods did wrong before he had 120 so-called affairs, which are he made more women whores and then he also, and the guy, ain't no telling, he could have been committing adultery also, ain't no telling. But what's the very first thing and premier thing that stands out that Tiger Woods did wrong? And what did he do? He went and did what? In his marriage, what was the first thing that sticks out? Somebody type it up in the chat. Type it up in the chat. What did Tiger Woods do wrong? What's the first thing that you notice? He did many things wrong, but what's the first thing he did? Somebody, Mary, Sherrod, clap it up. Sister Sherrod said, marry white women. He married a white woman first, a nanny. Somebody that he got to pay, I think, is $20,000 a month. $20,000 a month, I believe it was, to take care an allotment for his sons, okay, or children, or whatever. I can't believe the woman's white. That's the first thing he did. Of course, they're Israel because he's Israel. But you ain't building your nation up that way. That's not how. A woman cannot build up the nation of Israel by interracial marriage. Period. A man only confuses the issue. All right. Marrying white women, Sister Sarah said exactly right. And then you got let's turn to of course we know what Serena did. We had other people in here. We had this man, and then Tiger Woods. Before we get into that, Tiger Woods took 120 more white women, more, which is wrong. Esau, okay, Edomites. In 5 years' time, he had 120 white women. Somebody do the math on that. divide the two. I believe it's 60. No, wait a minute. What did I say? 120 divided by 5. What is that? What is that? What's 12 divided by 5, somebody? What's 120 divided by 5? I'm sorry. Somebody do the math on that one. I ain't thinking right now. What you got on that? And 120, y'all call them affairs out here in this world. But really what Tiger Woods is doing was going out there sleeping illegally in Israel with more white women, just messing up. Ain't had enough. You just got to go out there and sleep with some more Esau. Okay? Confusing the issue. You know, marrying white women. So, and 120 affairs in 5 years. You know, in other words, to add the first misery, he took a wife. Because he could have had 120 wives if he wanted to. But those are wives he just made basically them whores is basically all he did. The first one, to say it's one or two of them, who knows? You know, he didn't ran. Who knows about his life? He just got completely confused. But 24, Sister Sarah, 24, 120. That means every year, this man had 24 wives. Let's see, let's calculate that. That's 12 months of the year. What's that? Every month he had 2 wives he was dealing with in 5 years. Two whores, of whoredoms he was dealing with. Because he wasn't taking these people, since they call them affairs, Tiger Woods wasn't taking these women as his wives, although he was taking them as whores. You know? Some of them might have been married. You know? He done made whores out of them white women. And he committed adultery with his white wife, for that matter. If you want to look at it that way, yeah. Anyway, we'll get off of that one. Don't even want to get into that. Marriage, the Bible says, marriage is honorable in all, and the bed is undefiled. And whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge. That's what the Bible says, okay? You know, that's what the Bible says. It says, let's go in Deuteronomy 7:3. Let's continue on here, okay? Deuteronomy 7:3. Because when we take, that's why you have to be careful of the wives you take, men. And women, you have to be careful of the man you choose, because it can be that confusion. You can have concubines over here and concubines over there, you know, a maid, nannies and whatever. But you marry, that's your wife. You give this one. And man, look, Sarah gave Abraham a Hagar. Okay, because she thought, I'm old. I'm 99 years old, I believe. And I can't have no more children. You know. And they started the nation of the Arabs through Ishmael. He couldn't be part of the seed. The Most High used that for a reason. But the Most High wasn't going to put them on the throne of anything. Ishmael, he's an Arab. You see, the Most High is very particular about his nation. So he loved Israel, okay? That's what you have to understand. That's what you have to realize. You know, of course. When I'm saying of course, Israel, yes, of course. Because if your dad was black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, you are Israel. But you got to understand, you know, and that's what happened. But to be black, Hispanic, and Native and black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, you have to come of the seed of Abraham through the line of Isaac. Okay? That's why Ishmael couldn't be that. He came through the line of not Isaac. He was the oldest son. And that's how the Most High remedied that. Okay? Deuteronomy 7:3 here. Let's find out something here. Let's see how much time. Yeah, we got a little bit more time here. Deuteronomy 7:3. All right. check this out. This is what the Lord said when I'm bringing you into this land. It says, Deuteronomy 7:3, when the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations. The Lord, why do you think he's casting these nations out? He's casting out many nations, not some, many nations before thee. In other words, right before your eyes, he put out the Hittites, I believe those Africans, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites. We know those are Africans. All these are tribes. The Perizzites and the Hivites. I believe all the African tribes, if I'm not mistaken. And the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than Israel. That's what the Bible says, mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God, or when the Most High thy power, or the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee. In other words, when the Lord shall deliver them before thee, in other words, make us stand out, make us a nation of victory, shall deliver them before thee. Okay, thou shalt smite them. Type in the chat. Type up in the chat what does smite mean. Type it up in the chat. Thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. I mean, it's just want to make sure you guys understand. It says, you're going to take them home and just make them slaves. And, what does smite mean? The Bible said, let's read this again. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, and thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them, thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor mercy unto them. The Most High didn't want you to be part of them. Okay? Verse 3 said, the Bible says, don't make no covenant with them now, with these other nations over there across. And then it also said, neither shall thou make marriages with them. Back to that word. That means don't have sex with them. That's what this is saying. Don't make no marriages with these other nations, man. The Most High didn't want you to do that. He didn't want Gideon to have a concubine and have a child like that. We're just going by what the Bible says. Shiraz said, strike with a, what does she got? A firm blow. Hey, I'll take it further than that. When you say firm, I'm assuming you mean a death strike. Hey, clap it up for Sister Shiraz. She said a firm blow, so I'm going to take it further. I'm going to say, in other words, to kill him, to strike him firm, like you take a sword, like we got a sword right here. The Bible says smite him, okay? Smite, cut their heads off, That's what the Bible says. That's what the Most High says. Smite them. He didn't say don't play with them. And not only that, why? Because he don't want you. He says, verse 3, it says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. The Most High didn't want you. It says, thy daughter, thou shalt not give unto his son. Let's read that again. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son. Don't give your daughter. What you look like giving your daughter to some heathen ass nation? How sick? I mean, look. If she goes and give herself, that's one thing. But I'm not going to betroth her to a wicked nation. Are you crazy? That's what the Most High didn't want to happen. Okay, that's what he did not want to happen. All right, that's why he said, smite him with a firm blow, as Shiraz said. Kill him. Get him out of the way. Because don't make no marriages with them, man. And that neither shall thy daughter, thou shalt not give unto thy sons. Don't give them that. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his sons. Don't do that. She don't need no African boyfriend. She don't need no to be made to her husband for her. Don't do that for her. All right? Or Elamite or or Chinese or Japanese. She don't need that. Nor his daughter shall thou take unto thy son. And his son don't need to be taken, no heathen woman. There's enough of that went on. The Most High, that is not how the nation he wanted to build. We made mistakes. We did things. The Most High said this. He said, this is what he's trying to say right here. This is what the Most High is saying. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son. Don't do that. Whatever we cost in our little brain, Most High said, don't give your daughter to these heathens. And then don't give your sons, and then nor his daughter shall thou take unto thy son. Don't let your son take none of his daughters. Even though if his son taketh daughters, first go back to the first one. If you give your daughters to them heathens, that's Israel lost right there. That heritage gone. Now, what heritage can you give in any other way? You through the daughter. You can't. The Most High don't want that. Okay, it happens, but that's not what he really wanted. But you still Israel. Well, you still Israel. It's just that you're the Most High didn't ask for you to do that. Okay? And then it says why? Why does it say that in verse 4? It says, for they will turn away thy son from following me. That's the main prescription and the reason why the Most High doesn't want that. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods, so will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. The Most High doesn't want you doing that, okay? Because there's a whole, that's where we get all these holidays, these bad foods, these strange dress customs. You sitting up here, man, if a man marry a woman of these other nations, think he got something. And he said, I want a nice juicy steak. Okay, she goes and fixes a steak. It comes out, married a white woman, let's say. Tiger Woods, or Michael, who was that? Michael Jordan, or Terry Crews with his wicked self. Eddie Murphy, all these Dr. Dre and Ice-T, got alimonies out of the sky here, skyrocket. Now they go down there and they sit down. They say, they got a big old steak, big ribeye, inch thick, inch and a half. And she comes in, look what I got for you, babe. Wait a minute, yeah. And she comes in there, man, with a steak, and it's full of blood. Because they eat steaks rare. Cooked. Medium rare. You lost your mind. Medium rare. That's what's making our people sick and dying, because because of the things that we follow. The customs are the people of vain, man. In Jeremiah 10, there's the same thing. No Christmas trees. Same thing with these steaks. In Jeremiah 10 chapter, the custom of those people are vain. You go down there, you can't even enjoy a decent steak. You go out and all of a sudden it said, well, I'm tired of this. You marry a white woman. They marry a white woman. Let's turn to what's that? Proverbs, the 5th chapter. Let's see. Did I turn to that one? Let's see. Proverbs 5. Bible says, yeah, okay. All right, Proverbs, the 5th chapter. Let's go there. Now, 5th chapter, 10th verse here. All right. What did I say? Proverbs 5:10. Let me see. Did I go over this chapter already? Well, we're going to read it here. Okay, 5 and 10. All right. Yeah. Check this out right here. This is the reason why you got Ice-T paying $4,000 a month. You know, he's mad. That's his problem. Shouldn't have married a white woman. Okay? And you got Dr. Dre. $2 million laid out for child support. I guess that's some sort of settlement, you know. But check this out. This is what the Bible says about that, because a lot of people sitting up here marrying the other nation. The Bible says don't do that. It pointed it out. The Bible pointed out and said in Deuteronomy 7:3, don't go after the nation's people, the strange customs and all these heathens of the other nations. As Shiraz said in the chat, kill them. Shiraz says raw steak. Yeah, that's right. And raw steak. Clap it up for that sis. She's exactly right. They sit up here, our people, poor Tiger Wood, getting raw steak, running over fire hydrants. And I've seen this, man. I've seen how they eat foods. How can you enjoy their customs anyway? That's not, and then you got to live with that. That's why they get sick and disease and die, a lot of us, okay? For foolishness that we do. She's exactly right, okay? So let's see here. Let me show you here, because of these high alimony payments and all the stuff that our people are going through. Check us out. For the lips of a strange woman is a drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. Okay, this is why the Most High said, no strange woman, It says, strange woman. We're in Proverbs 5 and 4 now. But her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword, okay? Her feet go down to death. The Bible is very understanding about this. Her feet go down to death, man. Her steps take hold on hell. Okay, all right? Lest thou shouldest ponder the way of life. Her ways are movable, that they cannot know them. I'm sorry. Her ways are movable. Yeah. In other words, she changed with the wind. You know, go out one day, come back the next day with another idea from another white sister. That's how you call yourself marrying a white woman? Or Serena Williams, you call yourself marrying a white man for that matter. You know, it's no difference. Lest thou shouldst ponder the path of life. Her ways are movable, that thou cannot know them. And the Bible says this, hear me now, therefore, all ye children, us, we're the children of Israel, and depart not from the words of my mouth. In other words, the Most High is saying, keep my words. It says this, verse 8, remove thy way far from her. Get the hell out of her sight. Remove your way far from her, and come not nigh the door of her house. You don't need to be up there trying to step out with this woman, okay? All these strange women with these strange customs. That's what Dr. Dre has done, Ice-T's done, and Eddie Murphy, and Tiger Woods, okay? Lest thou give thy honor. In other words, they so messed up, and what we talked about in Hebrews 13 and 4, marriage is honorable and all, lest thou give thine honor. Look at the honor that they got. Looking like fools, man. Giving away all their money. Looking for the next white woman. Lest they give thy honor unto others, and thy years unto the cruel. Check this out. Verse 10, lest thy strangers be filled with thy wealth. The Bible knows what it's talking about. Lest the strange. Now, these are strange women. Strange. They don't know them. In other words, they think they know them. They don't slept with them. That's my wife now. You don't know this white woman, man. You don't know this African. You don't know this Chinese person. Lest strangers. These are strange women, man. Strangers. Be filled with thy wealth. They sure enough taking their wealth. Look at poor Tiger Woods. Got to pay a nanny all this money. Look at Ice-T. As I aforementioned, he got to pay $4,000 a month. That's all they want for him anyway. Sleep with him a few times, stud him out. Stud these women out. And these women get studded out there. I'm tired of them. Let's move on to the next one. Who got some more money? Lest strangers be filled with thy wealth, and thy labors in the house of a and thy labors be in the house of strangers. And all you labor for, Tiger Woods, running over water fountain, all the filmmaking you do, Ice-T, you give it to the strange woman. At least LeBron James stayed with his wife. She's black. Stayed with his wife. Okay, verse 11. And thou mourn at last. Oh, no, boo-hoo, I gotta, I'm sad. Oh, Lord, they taking all my money. Oh, Lord. Well, you know what? You shouldn't have sat there and given yourself to a strange woman, man. And Serena Williams, you shouldn't have said, all the man's going to do, all these doors taking your money anyway. If not, your end will be bitter wormwood, the Bible says. And thou mourn at last, when thy flesh and thy body are consumed. For disobeying the Most High, never told you to do that. Okay? It is illegal to marry. I mean, if you didn't know that before, it's illegal to sleep with heathens. It's illegal to sleep with white people. That's unlawful. It's illegal to sleep with Chinese people. It's illegal. The Bible says it. That's what we're doing. That's why the Most High is giving a judgment for it. He says, and thou mourn at last when thy flesh and thy body are consumed. What do you think that is? Okay? You see? That's what the Most High is trying to warn his people of. That's what he's trying to do. Okay? That's what the Most High is trying to keep our people from putting up with all of the foolishness that all of these heathen women lay on our people, and all these heathen men try to marry our women. And the Most High didn't want us to do that. You got no business marrying Chinese women, Japanese, African, Eskimos, Italians, Greek, Russians, etc. Go on and on. There's many of them, and then you get downtown, you say, I didn't know sex was married, but now you know sex is married. You don't need a marriage license. You don't need to, unless there's a prescription for you for a certain reason. People get in the country and they need certain things. Get counsel for that. That's what I'm saying. But when you are married, you lay down and you have sex. The ISUPK, and we're going to read that about the 6 months understanding of how we do it and how we make sure that people don't just rush out and get married to somebody and just rush out. Oh, I got my wife. Oh, I got my husband. Women, you better make sure you choose one man and choose that man carefully. Man, you make sure you take 6 months and understand and ascertain or get that woman. And then if you need another one, you get counsel, get that other woman. But first, let's work on this first one first, man. I'm just being common sense. You don't go out and just have many. And look what happened to Solomon. 1,000. Just gotta happen. And they've ravished his poor mind, ravished his poor heart. The Bible says if you want to be in love with the correct ravishing, get with the wife of your youth. And I hope that we understand, and let's clap it up for class. Let's clap it up and understand that sex is marriage. Women have one husband. Men, if you can have many wives, but work on them one at a time, man. And you're responsible for that, for the understanding of that wife. That wife needs to be let know. She needs to be taught, because women, they're humble, man. They're the weaker vessel, the Bible says, Let's find that here real quick here before we go. The Bible says that they're the weaker vessel, and you need to understand that they need to be taught. And a lot of people, we ain't got time to get into a whole lot of it, of the Bible, but a lot of women don't understand. And I hope you guys understand. We're supposed to be working to okay, 1 Peter 3:7, real quick here. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, man. Teach your wife, okay? Giving honor to the wife as unto the weaker vessel. That means respect her, of course. Don't just have her just doing any damn thing, all right? As being heirs together of grace of life, that your prayers are not hindered. In other words, treat your wife right. That's what it's saying. But the Bible says she's a weaker vessel, man. She's the weaker vessel, so you got to teach her, all right? You don't just walk away from and say, I thought I told you, teach her. Know what to expect from her. Teach her. That's your wife. That's your bedroom. The Bible says, Hebrews 13:4, and the bed is undefiled. Whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge. So we hope you guys understood, class. We're going to end class on that note. All right? We're going to read some security announcements. ISUBK security announcement. We are the ISUBK. Start off in 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for the brother or sister. When a brother or sister comes to the school, they're off limits for 6 months. There we go. We're talking about off limits. Now get this woman chance to get herself together, or this man chance to get himself together. They are to be saluted only. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That's what we say. They are here to shed themselves of the world. That's the reason. Okay. For if they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. Let me read that again. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. And that's what we've been talking about. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21. Malachi 3:8-10 means tenth in the Hebrew. Ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher, priest fund. Free will offer to priest, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. Announce the holy convocation from the sheet. The next holy convocation will be the memorial blowing of the trumpet. Monday the 6th, September 2021. Leviticus 23, 24, and 25. Okay. We're going to remind Akim and Akwath to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. We give a salute to all the brothers. Amad Shabbat, Amad. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatham. We give a turn and give a courtesy salute to our sisters. Amad Shabbat. Amad, Yahweh Shema, Alatah by Shem Yahweh Shai. And for that we say, Shalom.